So, I'd like to open up this discussion with the statement that your past, present, future, what you're focusing on right now, um, or like not what you're focusing on right now, just what is occurring to you right now is actually an illusion and stuff. Um, it is basically what you get from it is an illusion, and understanding this fact is makes all the difference in whether a person's life stays the same or gets better. Um, Regardless of whether you're in, um, at the lowest circumstance in life or the highest, things are going to stay the same or get better, or you're going to find that next place the next circumstance experience you want to go to by understanding this principle stuff. This here is, what is most essentially you. This is the center of your nervous system. You have the brain's up is located in this area and stuff, and then you have the cervical spine and has the nerves that go up into the brain, um, as part of a connection system from the brain to the nervous system and stuff. Your body is actually your brain's material to use and stuff. Um, and yeah, now these arrows here symbolize the flow of information and stuff, complex information and stuff. Um, the flow of information is only as self-determining as can be perceived or understood by the mind and stuff. So in the process of sense making and stuff, you're actually choosing a way to define things or look at things that occur to you in your circumstance. Um, and your circumstances can be your own thoughts, which is if you're very introverted and stuff, you're usually focused here, and um, or the external world around you and stuff. If you're very extroverted, you're here. If you're ambiverted, you switch between the two. Maybe it gets a little bit difficult sometimes, very cognitively taxing and stuff. But you know, this flow converges, um, branches off into these two things. Either way, this whole chain is actually a bidirectional flow. It is in full duplex. And now we're illustrating the flow. So this is just going to be a vertex for what is okay. This thing is wilding out on me. Okay. This is just the vertex right here, whatever that vertex may be and stuff. Because we're approaching a general case here. Now here you have your own thoughts, including your more basic thoughts like memories. If all you have are memories from 5 minutes ago and you're thinking about it and you're reacting and stuff, your mind's in dire straits and stuff. The brain and nervous system is not doing too good and stuff. Something's off about something you ate, or maybe you really did a number on yourself. Somebody did a number on you and stuff. But yeah, that's a sign that a person does need medical or psychological help. But yeah, so here we have this flow of information. Again, bidirectional flow of information as part of the sense-making process. And when you have a certain flow of information and stuff, to understand things like we define them, or we understand them in encapsulatory terms and stuff. But when we define things, we're not necessarily looking at the whole entity and stuff. We're just looking at we should be looking at the things that we actually address and stuff, things that are part with our occupations and our interests and stuff like that, as part of the things that we're doing and stuff. Um, so if a person um, is, you know, applying a definition to something, they have to think more dynamically and stuff. This is why there's multiple definitions and stuff. Like there's a quote by Carl Sagan where he equivocates science into multiple things and stuff. Um, or we could talk about Mikhail Tal's, you know, statements about chess and stuff. You know, what a person decides on it, so it depends on the process they're in and what they should be focused on. We just talk about Mikhail Tal. Um, no longer just a game. It's no longer just a pastime. It's becoming more of a science than ever and stuff. More of a sport than ever. It's an art and stuff. It's all of those things at the same time without contradiction. Why? Because equivocation uses an equivocation operator and stuff. It uses an equals. It is, that's one of the senses of the words is and stuff. It is so, and that's part of the sense making process. With that and stuff, any given piece of information can be looked at in so many different ways and stuff. Like, for example, the topic of elephants is a lot of different things depending on different occupations. Like, elephants and plumbing, you know, zoos have plumbing and stuff. So an elephant is a potential risk and stuff. You want to make sure that the plumbing is done correctly and stuff, so the elephant's trunk doesn't rip out the pipe or something and hurt itself or cause whatever. So if you're in a good line of work, you're not concerned with causing problems and destruction and stuff. So though some things do need to be torn down and stuff. There's a lot of elephant enclosures that are a bit small, unfortunately. And so, but like going to the elephants and stuff, elephants mean something different in biology and chemistry and stuff. Biology, elephants are related to animal cells and stuff, and that creates a different definition and stuff. So, given a piece of applying this to your life and stuff, your circumstance may be a certain way and stuff, but what you address is going to make all the difference, and that's what you should focus on. So by improving the quality of the flow of information and stuff, by improving your intention and stuff, you're going to realize that the material around you can be used in so many different ways and addressed in so many different ways and stuff. So, for people that for people that reside in the United States who feel like their life has gone into shambles because be, for one reason or another and stuff, you got to understand your life is not going to be lived for you. But understand that because of that and because of everything I say and stuff, a person has to make the best decisions they possibly can continuously every day and stuff. Even if it means studying every single day, practicing every single day, and to to give themselves the best shot at advancing their education and stuff. So this is why all this converges to is why education is so important and stuff, and why it's central to life and stuff. It's because it is possible for most of us here and stuff. And there's going to be people, because there's so many people out there who say like, I can't do it and stuff, this is too hard and everything. Your life cannot be lived for you anyway and stuff. You take your hands off of this and stuff, nobody's going to give you better hands, figuratively speaking. So you tell yourself, oh, I'm not a mathematics person, or I'm not a technology person, science person and stuff, and you're giving up and you just choose something easy and stuff, you're just going to get the yields of easy and stuff. So you got to be strong. You always have to get yourself stronger than what you're trying to take over and stuff, So don't shy away from that difficult MD program, DO program and stuff. Don't shy away from going to MIT for engineering. Um, don't shy away from going to like a great art school and becoming somebody who starts like a whole new revolutionary movement and stuff of art and like a new style and or creating new artists and stuff. Don't be afraid to try to get into something like Juilliard or something equivalent and stuff, or get that or do whatever you need to do to get that better job and stuff, um, to get to that higher pay grade or take on more responsibilities to kind of like develop in your job and stuff. All of these people that are telling you that you're wasting your time reading books or you're wasting your time studying blah 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 and everything, that like they're wrong. They're idiots. I'm sorry. They're idiots because they always say and do the wrong thing. Um, and it's all because of this explanatory model and stuff. All points of this model are grounded to all the circumstances in the United States. It could be 1,000, 2,000 times worse to where there really are no opportunities and stuff. Um, you know, there's so many countries around the world where people don't even have piss to piss in a pot because there's no pot either. There's no piss, there's no pot, and they have no legs to stand on to piss. You know, um, it's just how it is. And but yeah, um, if you have if you have so you should value your education and stuff as something essential to your life. And all of that, all of this stuff that they're pushing in mass media to like get people to force the issue, and um, you know waste their money, whatever, all this commercial nonsense and this consumerist nonsense. It's all junk. It's been killing and destroying and keeping down U.S. residents for decades. Like I've like 4, 5, like 3, 4 decades, whatever and stuff. That's really the truth. Um, but yeah, that's this lesson.